again. That's the call from the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, for the government, which only recently increased the income tax threshold to under $2 million per annum. Well, CAPRI's executive director, Dr. Damien King, argues a more significant increase would have been better to offset purchasing power lost since 2017. Here's Ramon with the details.
The Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, has doubled down on its call for the government to increase the income tax threshold. Last month, head of CAPRI, Damien King, voiced support for an increase to $2.2 million, saying it would restore consumer purchasing power to 2016 levels. However, while concluding his opening presentation in the 2024-2025 budget debate, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark announced a smaller increase, $1.7 million, up from $1.5 million. Yesterday, King challenged that decision.
In 2017, when the threshold was set, you would have been able to buy 7 meal deals a day. Because the threshold has not been adjusted with inflation, then in 2024, that 1.5 million is only going to buy 4 meal deals a day, even after the adjustment to 1.7. And the other 3 meal deals that you normally buy, well, taxes are coming out of that.
The matter came up for talks Thursday evening during CAPRI's budget report presentation. Dr. King says raising the income tax threshold may help alleviate local inequity.
Out of all of this come 2 recommendations. The first one is to shift away from direct taxes, to raise the income tax threshold, to basically correct what we see as the disadvantages of income tax. And secondly, in that debate about where do we put rising incomes, we think there's a case to be made that it should be put increasingly towards the social safety net.
Back in March, opposition leader Mark Golding also challenged the increase in Parliament, calling it inadequate. But Dr. Clark refuted those assertions as being uninformed. On Thursday, the minister again defended the government's position.
The points that you make about efficiency and about equity are points that I think are valid. However, what is not addressed is how to do it. I have to think about the vast majority of Jamaicans. If it's not going to be revenue neutral, I can't make that allocation to a small group to that degree.
The Prime Minister had promised an increase to the income tax threshold ahead of the local government elections in February. The move, while welcomed by many, has not been able to avert criticism. Minister Clark says the government is listening to Jamaicans.
The fact that we actually moved the threshold from 1.5 to 1.7, we listened to you. I was here last year, you mentioned it. So the democratic process, what we're doing is how it works. But we have to be careful. We have to respond to all the people.
Ramon for CVM News.